Come on. There we go. There's one crawler. Whoa. Haha, that would have sucked. Alright, so we'll go back. We'll try and get our snipers. I want to kill George. If we get a ray gun, I want to get all the perks. I want to do the solo Easter egg. So we'll see what happens. Let's go up and see what we can get in the box. And then we're going to continue our discussion, our gaming discussion. There's a few other things that I want to talk about. I got an FN. Nice. Ray gun. Okay, so let's go and try and take George out with a ray gun.
Sound familiar?
And get another perk. Yeah, there's a few other things I want to talk about while we're killing George here. With regards to EA and that posting that that blog post I was talking about before or earlier that Cliff Blazinski had posted, and I think that guy's just a freaking attention whore, to be honest with you. But there's one thing that he mentioned, and we were talking about microtransactions, and he was saying how people should just shut up and not complain about things. Well, whatever. You know, the way it is in the world today is the people who bitch the most and the loudest get the most stuff. That's the way it is. That's right or wrong. That is the way it is these days. And like I was talking about earlier with all these social networks, I mean, people have more of a voice than they have ever had, right? So they're going to voice their concerns. They're going to voice their opinions. And one of the things he talked about was, well, these companies, they have to make money. They have to nickel and dime you because they have to make money. They're in it to make a profit. They're a business. And oh, what else did he say? He said something on Twitter about people who are complaining about his blog post probably have never owned a business.
Okay,
and I just got to say, yes, I have owned several businesses. And, you know, if we look at development, let's look at a game, and we're still going to keep talking EA here. Let's look at a game like Medal of Honor, all right? Medal of Honor Warfighter. They obviously cut corners there. The game didn't do as well as was expected. And they're probably, I don't know if they're going to lose money on it, but they didn't make as much money as they would have liked. All right, let's put it that way. I don't know if that crawler, maybe careful, I don't kill the crawler. So they didn't make as much money as they thought they were going to make. But that's, you know, that's their problem. That's their fault for making the game the way they did. And not making money on it, right? And I think he was trying to, you know, I don't know if he was trying to get to the point that we should be paying for their failures. And I mean, I have some strong feelings about some stuff that happened in the last few years with some of the auto manufacturers. Maybe we'll talk about that a little later. But you know, they're hit and miss. Okay. And he talks about them having to spend all this money on marketing of their game. Oh, you know, these companies got to spend $100 million, you know, or millions and millions of dollars or whatever, you know, over and above development just in marketing their game. They got to do all this stuff. Yeah, but the thing is, they don't have to.
Okay, George.
They don't have to. Look at all the indie devs that get their game out there. Look at, you know, case in point. Well, I still don't agree with. You know, I don't necessarily like the way that other games are going similar to this one, but look at Minecraft, okay? Let's look at Minecraft. I'm out of ammo. What the hell? Should I? Do you think I should pack a punch the ray gun and continue to kill him, or what? Or just go get some more guns? I don't know. I'll use the AK on him. Okay, so look at a game like Minecraft. Do you think Minecraft had to spend $5 million to market their game? Fuck no, right? There are all kinds of other indie developers, etc. that get their game out there. Yeah, maybe they're not selling 15 million copies of their game, all right? But you know, they're doing fairly well. They're not doing badly, and they didn't spend $5 million or $10 million or $20 million in marketing costs of their game, and they're not passing that cost on, therefore passing that cost on to the consumer, right? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of the AK.
Come on, zombies. I'll take you on with my bare
May as well
hands.
use all these weapons on the
okay, guys, if you could just
George,
stand together,
right? Yeah, what
nice
the hell?
and close.
So, I just, you know, I take offense to the fact, oh, they have to make money. Well, you know what? They're not making money because they fucked up. they fucked up a bunch of franchises. Dead Space 3, they didn't make as much money as they should have, in my opinion. You know, and the list goes on and on. You know, look at SimCity and the negative press that they're getting from that, and their fuck-ups on that, right? Okay, so now they fucked all that up, but they got to make money. They're not making as much money as they need to be making. They're not making as much profit. You know, what was the profit of Activision the last quarter? I'm pretty sure they're doing okay. You know, it's like, but no, they got to nickel and dime us even more. And I compare it to kind of the banks here in Canada. The banks are just fucking making money hand over fist, and they keep increasing. They keep increasing the transaction costs and fees of shit. Yeah, I got flopper. I just want to get the brawler away from George. They keep increasing fees, etc. All in the name of, well, we got to make money. You know, I went to the bank one time because I had this line of credit, right? And they were going to increase the rate on me, increase the rate on this line of credit, just because they, I don't know, for whatever reason, I had a freaking kick-ass rate on this line of credit, and they wanted to increase it. So I went in and I'm like, fuck that, I don't want it increased. Keep it the way it is. And you know, I talking to the bank manager, and she's like, well, what are you going to do for the bank? I'm like, well, your mortgage isn't here. Well, so what? You know, I have this this line of credit, and I have a business account with you guys. What? I got to do more. I got to do even more to try and keep this rate that I've had for like 10 years. And then one of the comments you make, well, the bank has to make money. The bank has to make money, and what was the other comment? And you got to do something for the bank first. It's like, no, I don't. It's like, I'll take my business elsewhere, right?
No bullets,
so these companies are making money, and when they lose money, it's usually because they just fucked up royally. You know, I'm not going to worry about this last crossbow bolt. Because they fucked up royally, so they got to introduce additional fees in their other games to cover the cost of their fuck-ups. You know what? If a company's going to fail because they're idiots, let them fail. All right? And I'll go back to that whole discussion, and people might not like this, especially people that are in the automotive industry. And I was in automotive. I was in manufacturing, okay? GM and Chrysler. All right, look at Ford. Okay, so let's do a comparison of these guys. What was in 2008 when the whole financial crisis was going on, and these companies were losing money. They were fucked up. And Chrysler and GM ended up declaring bankruptcy. I guess that's up by power, right? They ended up going into bankruptcy protection and getting huge concessions. Why? Why? Because they had fucked up. It has nothing, you know, the economy, yeah, the economy screwed up. Any regular business, any normal business, you have to take into account the ups and downs of the business cycle. All right? You got to take into consideration, yeah, things could go very, very sour very, very quickly. I mean, you got to have enough cash on hand, enough resources, you scale back your production, right?
Chance.
So we had two of the big three that were in serious trouble. And they ended up getting bailed out because, again, this and the same goes with frickin' some of the banks. Well, they're too big to fail. It's like, fuck that, they're too big to fail. If they're going to run their business, they're a private or a publicly traded company. They're not owned by the government. They weren't owned by the government. But they just had so many employees. And, you know, I can agree the impact... The impact on those companies, on a company like GM and Chrysler, if both those automotive manufacturers were left to fail, yeah, the economic impact would have been huge.
Maybe now we can see a way out.
But again, it goes back to this whole concept of being too big to fail, and you know, these companies getting bailed out. If my small business, if I had a small business and I had 10 employees, was in the same, you know, we're in the same situation, yeah, we wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be here anymore, right? Because the government isn't going to come in and bail me out, my 10-person business. No, they're going to bail out the 25,000 employee business. And again, they were not let to fail. Where did all the debt go? Where did all the things that they owed go? I mean, that debt gets, I don't know where it goes, man. Like, they don't have to pay it. So what about all the people that they owe money to? Where does all that money go? Or where do those people get their money from? And then you have the diamond in the rough, I guess you call it, right? So Chrysler and GM were in that situation, and then you have Ford. Ford didn't have to go into bankruptcy protection. Ford played it smart. Ford had good guys on management that knew what the fuck they were doing, and they didn't have to go into bankruptcy protection, right? They were okay. I can't remember if the government actually forced them to take money or whatever. It was kind of a similar scenario for a lot of the banks, all right, when that was happening. But look what happened to Ford. Yeah, they didn't have to go into bankruptcy protection. They didn't get all those concessions. Yeah, we killed George. Yes! Free perk, baby. We killed him with a python. That's sweet. Nice. Yes! Alright, we got Deadshot Daiquiri. Hey, I didn't even get the death machine. See, we haven't completed the Easter egg. When you complete the Easter egg on Call of the Dead, you end up getting getting the Wonder Waffle. So anyways, Ford, yeah, they were good. So they didn't get all those concessions. They didn't get to wipe away their debt like GM and Chrysler did. Excuse me, just taking a sip of coffee. I'm waiting until this death machine runs out. You know what? I need other weapons too, so I may as well go up and get some other weapons. I don't want to keep these weapons. The G11's not bad, but we still need to get snipers again. So, and when they were in negotiations, so not only did they not get the debt concessions, they didn't get the union concessions that GM and Chrysler got. You know, typically when these companies, if you look at the CAW, the Canadian Auto Workers, and the UAW, the United Auto Workers in the States, and I think there are some other unions, typically what happens is that the unions will start with one of the manufacturers, and these contract negotiations, I don't know if it's every few years or whatever, they go back and they renegotiate their contracts, and they usually start off with one of the auto manufacturers, and then whatever deal they do with that particular, I guess we can use the flipper, right? Whatever deal they put in place with that particular manufacturer usually is sort of similar for the other ones. So it acts as a baseline in negotiations for the other ones. Well, what happened was, and I believe, and I don't know the specifics, so don't quote me on the specifics, but they negotiated the union, and when they were negotiating with Chrysler and GM, I mean, Chrysler and GM basically came around, yeah, we're in bankruptcy protection. If you guys don't freaking give us a lot, if you guys don't give us a lot of concessions here, then we're not coming back. We're not coming out of bankruptcy protection. So they had that card to play, right? Yeah, get rid of the G11. If we get one sniper, we're gonna go with it, and we'll run a few rounds, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, they had a lot more pull, a lot more power, a lot more bargaining power at that point in time with the unions, and they got huge concessions. They shut down plants. They got a lot of concessions from the union. Well, when it was time for Ford to go and talk to the union, well, Ford's not. You're not in that bad a shape. You're okay. So we're not going to give you the same concessions we just gave the idiots who don't know how to frickin' manage their company. We just gave them a bunch of concessions that we're not going to give you because you run your company way better than they do. Right? That's the problem I have. That is the huge problem that I have with that whole scenario. And these companies were not allowed to fail. They fucked up, and they put it on a lot. Most of it was on the U.S. taxpayer. They put it all onto the U.S. taxpayer to bail these companies out because of their fuck-ups, because of their mismanagement over, you know, the last 20 years. So I think it's just bullshit. I think, you know, if you're going to fail on that many levels, then you should be allowed to go down. Just like that 10-person company. Yes, I realize it's going to have a huge, significant impact on the overall economy, but, you know, that whatever. It's that's the way it is. That's the way shit happens, and you recover. And, you know, how fair is it to all these other auto manufacturers as well, you know, who didn't get bailed out. I mean, we're talking about the big three, obviously the North American big three, but you know, what about these other companies that, you know, now GM and Chrysler have come back and are doing fairly well because they got rescued, they got bailed out, and that's one reason why I
shoot this baby with one
I
hit.
prefer. I mean, I have 2 Fords in my garage. Okay. I prefer. We already used the
Who
heating
makes
maker,
these
didn't we?
things?
Yeah.
Come on, zombies. I'll take you on with my bear.
I would prefer never to buy a Chrysler or GM product for
boy.
as long
Now
as I
they're
live.
in for
Just
it.
because of that. Just because of it. You know what? Spite. It's like you guys fucked up. You guys had to get bailed out. You guys, you know, took money, got bailed out, and I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna support the companies that did well, that were doing well, that you know, deserve my support. I'm gonna support Ford, okay? Because they didn't fuck up anywhere near as badly as you guys did. Anyways, that's my rant. It certainly helps that I worked for not directly for Ford, but I worked in several Ford plants for several years. So I do have and my dad always liked Fords. So maybe that's where my sort of attraction to the Ford brand is. Plus, you know, where we bought our vehicles, my wife has a good contact over there with one of the sales managers, so that always helps. All right, let's
Get away from me.
we'll run a couple more rounds. Unfortunately, you know, I didn't get a sniper, and I don't want to spend all my points, because if I get downed, then I want to be able to rebuy my perks, right? So, apologies for that, but when I say snipers only, we want to run snipers only, but we haven't had the ability to do that. So yeah, coming back to the game side of it, I mean, it's very, very similar, right? And you know, it's like an automotive manufacturer. Think of an automotive manufacturer similar to a game company, right? The game company has a bunch of IPs, a bunch of games that they develop, similar to, you know, an auto company that has a bunch of vehicle models that they sell, right? Some of them are highly successful, some of them are not. And let's use Ford as an example. Their trucks are the pillar of Ford. The F-150 trucks are absolutely the pillar, or is the pillar of Ford. And that's where they make the most money. They make more profit on their trucks. They sell more trucks than maybe the numbers aren't exactly the same from what I remember now, but
Using that?
you know, that's generally been the case over the years. They don't make near as much money on their cars. I mean, they do have their more expensive product lines. They have the Lincoln, they have Jaguar, etc. And I'm sure they make significant money off of those vehicles on a per unit basis. But their trucks are just, you know, that's it. That's where the money is. So they have these other product lines that are less successful, that they make less money off of in the cars. And it's similar to a lot of the games that this company make. And let's compare them to Activision for a moment. You know, the F-150 to Ford is like the Call of Duty to Activision, right? And I know Activision has a few more, like obviously Blizzard has a few IPs there that they make a ton of money off of, but you kind of get the picture. And then they have their less successful vehicles or games. Some of them, they're not franchises, some of them are one-offs or whatever. Some of them they'll end up losing money on, possibly. It depends on how successful the game sells, right? So they use the profits that they make off their successful IPs to sort of offset maybe some of the losses that they have in these other IPs, right? And they don't want to keep those going. I mean, if Ford has a car that they're selling and they're just selling at a loss every single year, and there's no other reason for them to have that vehicle being sold, then there's no reason to sell it. They just discontinue the model, right? And they try and do something else, or they try and create a different vehicle model that will make them money. And the same goes for games. So, you know, because Ford lost, let's say they came up with a new car and they lost a ton of money, you know, they're not going to nickel and dime me I mean, maybe they do. It's just easier for them to build in the prices. But they're not going to introduce new fees into, you know, when I want to go and buy an F-150, they don't have introduce all these new microtransaction fees into my F-150 to offset their fuck up on the cost of that last vehicle model that they had that wasn't that successful, right? And if you have enough vehicle models at the same time... Oops, I didn't open that door. Enough vehicle models at the same time that don't sell well, and you just end up royally screwing up, and you're losing a ton of money, you end up going out of business, well, that's your fault. That's your fault for going out of business. You know, I'm not gonna give you an extra $10,000 for that F-150.
Big,
You know, let's say it costs $40,000. I'm not gonna give you $45 because, oh, you're losing. You know, you have to make money. You're losing. You lost so much money on your previous vehicle, so we got to make money. So, you know, I'm gonna give you more money. Screw that. I'm gonna go buy another vehicle. I'm gonna go buy a vehicle from someone else, right?
An SMG
That's
for
what
the
I'm
one
gonna
and
do.
only SMG.
And I think that's where we're eventually going to see it. People are just not going to buy those games. They're going to buy other games
Okay, zombies.
and just stay
Time I
away from
crank
those
this up
games.
a notch.
But still, the point being, we're still going to have a voice about it, right? That's going to build me up some points. So I'm sorry. Like I'm trying to get sniper rifles here. It's just not happening. I want to keep the ray gun for George as well when he comes back, because we want to kill him again. But I think I've talked about that enough. Have we talked about it enough? I don't know. I think George is going to come back this round.
Only half done.
Did I mention that? I don't know. Did I mention this? That I'm only going to do one per day? One video per day? I can't remember. And I think I heard George come back. Yeah, he's definitely over there. He's back! He's back! So at the end of this round, we'll try and kill him again. And we'll hopefully get another perk. Yeah, every 2 rounds we can get a new perk. Nice! Nice! And then hopefully, eventually, we'll get the freaking sniper rifles that we really want to run with. This map is, I mean, we were doing well with the scavenger. And once we get it back, we should be able to go through these rounds a little more quickly than we are right now. But
Fog's getting worse again.
I mean, I could use the ray gun. I could have kept Mustang and Sally, etc. But again, I want to build up points and try and get those freaking sniper rifles, and eventually get. Come on, we'll get Mule Kick, so we get 3 sniper rifles. Nice, I like it.
Reasonable force, zombie. Reasonable force.
Oh boy. So yeah, just EA is having a bad month. Oh, what are you gonna do? Maybe they'll fix up, they'll get SimCity fixed up soon. I'm gonna grab that. There's no box around here, unfortunately, so not much I can do. About trying to get cheap box pulls, right? The stamina up doesn't feel like I'm moving as fast with the LMGs and with the ray gun, but. So I know there are a few other train routes on Call of the Dead. I don't know. I'm just used to this one. I like this one. I know there's one inside. You can do one inside the.
Get away from me!
I know that you can run them inside the
Rip 'em up.
inside the lighthouse, and I have done that before a bit, but I'm most comfortable with this route.
Are you sorry now?
Come on, zombies!
This can't be fun for
We
you.
gotta save one though. We gotta save one. So we can kill George. Kill George. Pretty handy that we got the ray gun. Shit. Man, that would have been. I don't know if insta-kill was gonna end right there. I was like scared. No, don't end insta-kill.
They're fast.
Alright, let's try and make a crawler here. Come on, zombies, come up this way.
Maybe now we can see a way out.
Alright, I don't know if I can make a crawler with the ray gun, so I wasn't gonna try there. There we go. I don't want you. I just want the slow one. What the fuck? Die already. There we go. Alright, let's go take George over to... Might as well hit him and get him mad, right? Let's take him over to this area over here. It's a little bit easier area to kill him in.